put all this back together and it still didn't work. Best thing to do is put some tape over it, I say. And you can see why these are such good off-roaders. Look what I just bought, a Suzuki Jimny. Always wanted one of these, I think they're super cool. 2004, one owner car with 46,000 miles, so this is a nice find. The original owner, now 88 years old, he wasn't really driving anymore. The car was sitting around going green, so they agreed to sell it to me. I'll give you a quick tour. I've left it running because the battery is about dead. But as you can see, it's fairly tidy, all needs a good clean up. It's all gone very green. It is a right-hand drive UK car, but it's been in France since 2000, I think early 2005, and the car is a mid-2004, so this has endured exactly half of one British winter, so I don't think there's hardly any rust on it either. Got the old 90s style 3-spoke alloys, do you remember those? Fairly nice Bridgestone tyres. We've got some wind deflectors there on the windows. We've got a roof rack, that could come in handy. Body works good, there's a bit of touch-ups here that's taken place. Got the tow bar, a bit scabby on this rear bumper here. But yeah, it's looking pretty good actually. Quite happy with that. There are some issues, obviously. Well, we've got like a half leathery seat here. I don't think they're torn up, but they have got some covers on. We got electric windows. I guess they all had that. No AC, unfortunately. We've got an ABS light on, so we'll hope it's a wheel speed sensor. Yeah, see there, 46,000 miles. When you get fed up looking at your engine light, best thing to do is put some tape over it, I say. We've got one of those hiding under there. I did know about that. Get a fair bit of junk in the trunk on these when you fold the seats up. But yeah, the headlining's nice. Yeah, really nice little car. Quite happy with that. Bit of TLC and that'll be a good one, I think. Good clean, first and foremost. Goodness, it's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel in it. Can't be bad, can it? Tried the low range, all that seems to work. So yeah, let's get this little beastie home and get it cleaned up, see what we can do with it. This is a 1.3 petrol, I think, and I noticed when I was looking around for these for sale in France, there's lots of diesel ones around, but tell me if I'm wrong, I don't think at this age we ever got the diesel one in the UK, did we? I'm not sure, but I'm guessing the diesel ones have a Renault engine, probably. The 1.5 DCI, which is a decent engine, but I prefer it to be petrol myself. This one had a new clutch recently, and the I think it needs a bit more bleeding. It's a bit sticky to get into gear. But I really just don't think it's been driven at all in the last maybe year or so. So it's coming around pretty nicely. The brakes have cleaned up. These drive better than I remember actually. I think the road manners are pretty good actually. The roads around here are nice and smooth, so that does help. Not bouncing around too much. Tyres are a little bit flat spotted maybe, but I think they'll come around. Yeah, it's not hard to see why these are popular. It's sort of small and fun and cutesy, which is a winning combination for any car, isn't it? Not only that, extremely capable off-road. I can still smell the burning remnants of the old clutch, so it's not been driven enough to sort of disperse that old burny clutch smell. So yeah, not far from home. Nice evening drive home. It's one of those cars you can enjoy sort of bumping around in without, worrying about losing your license. Its happy place is around 60 miles an hour. I'm sure you can push it to 80 miles an hour if you really wanted to, but it seems like its happy spot about there. It's 60 miles an hour, it's about 3,500 revs, but minimal engine noise, minimal wind noise actually, bit of road noise. You tell me, but I reckon these are getting to the age now that some of these 20-year-old ones, they must be fairly rotten, aren't they? But although where we are in Brittany, it can be quite damp. The roads are never salted. The cars here, they are significantly less corroded than UK cars normally. So yeah, 70 miles an hour is about 4,000 RPM. It's starting to feel a little bit jittery there, a little bit buzzy. You can do it. could do it all day long, I'm sure, but it's not his happy place, put it that way. I didn't test drive the car before I bought it, but when I looked under the bonnet, big oily mess everywhere because the oil cap's been off it. And the oil level, it hadn't gone low or anything, but a bit of a big old oily mess to clean up. So my boy said to me, "Dad, it looks cool, but surely that thing is no good off-road, is it?" I said, "Boy, get your coat, we're going off-roading." So roll the off-road montage. I knew these were very capable off-road, but I was genuinely amazed. You just point it at anything and it doesn't say no. The tyres are nothing special either in terms of how chunky they are, but it just works, doesn't it? Lightweight, a bit of ground clearance, not too much overhang, lots of grip. That's it, you'll go anywhere. But yeah, I thought we might as well get it properly dirty before we wash it. Add a load of mud to the green slime. Looks proper now with a bit of mud on it. Anyway, let's give this thing a nice bath. I think it's earned it. So my luck ran out with the ABS problem, not a simple sensor fault or something like that. It came up with a fault code, I think it was C1061 ABS pump motor circuit failure, something like that. So something in the ABS block itself. So I took off the module off the side of the ABS unit, opened it up, had a look inside, looked for dry solder joints, things like that. It all looked all right actually. I checked all the fuses, relays, make sure that this has power, things like that. All looked good. So eventually I took the motor off and found it was stuck actually. I managed to free it up, put all this back together, and it still didn't work. So off to eBay, I managed to find, and there aren't many around actually. It seems like they only use this particular module and block for a year or two. So with this, before you go through all the trouble of installing it on the car, fitting the pipes, bleeding it and everything, you can simply just plug it in. And then when we go and turn the key on, if the ABS light goes off, and it does, then we know we can install that module, and electronically everything's all right. It's just going to be a bit of a fiddle to bleed it up, but we can be reasonably sure it's going to work, which is nice to know. So I was just trying to get to the bottom of the engine management fault we had, and the fault code said we had insufficient EGR flow. So well, first of all, there's a little pipe that goes from the valve to the inlet manifold. That can block up. That was actually okay. So I took the valve off, and on these, you can leave the valve plugged in, block off the open hole, which you'll have on the inlet manifold, so you don't have a massive air leak. And then with the Autel, you can do a test to add or subtract EGR, the EGR position, in fact, so it opens. and then you can see, or maybe you can, or maybe you can't see, but as I do that, the valve in there is actually moving, and that's a handy little test because the old one didn't move at all. So I know that that is dead. I know that the new one works, and that should cool the issue. It was handy that because it took sort of, yeah, more than 50 miles or so for the light to come back on, and I didn't want to sell it not knowing that I cured the problem. So bolt that on, and on to the next. Right, got the Jimny up on the lift, so I thought I'd just give you a quick tour underneath while we're here, and you can see why these are such good off-roaders, because you've got a proper live axle front and rear with coil spring suspension. All pretty heavy duty stuff. Fair bit of corrosion here and there, but just the surface. Not bad at all. The inner seals look good, floor pans, chassis. It's quite muddy under here, I don't know how that happened. But yeah, no, it's alright, it's not bad. Fairly solid little car. It failed its inspection on the rear shocks, so I've just put a pair of new rear shocks on it, which is about as easy as it gets for changing shocks. Not too much else to show you really, no leaks anywhere. Done the oil change as well. So it did come with a good bit of history, and the service book is stamped up fairly well. And they told me the clutch had been done in the summer of this year, I think, yeah, July 2025. Sure enough, here is the invoice for that. It's July 2025, what are we on, 46,253 miles. It's just shy of 47,000 miles, so not very long ago. 850 euros. It says here it had replacement of the clutch, a few other odds and sods, but anyway, yeah, so that was that. But then I dug a bit deeper into the history, and there's another invoice here from the summer of 2023, 44,700 miles. Guess what it is? Another clutch, 890 euros. Dig a bit deeper, there's yet another invoice, February 2022, yet another clutch, a kit d'embrayage, just shy of 700 euros, that one. So if you include its original clutch, it's on its clutch number 4. But yeah, I can only assume that is driver error. At least the clutch in it now is still working fine, so yeah, you tell me. I think it's driver error. So it cleaned up really well, particularly on the interior. Got rid of those nasty seat covers. Good clean all round. That's all pretty nice. I haven't polished it, but just given it all a good clean. I touched up with a slightly darker paint. That was the only rusty bit on the car, on the bodywork, that corner there. These bits here where it had that paint on, actually it was just covering up a small chip, so I polished all that paint away that was the wrong colour, and it looks a lot better. All nice and clean. No dents or anything in it anywhere. And the wheels cleaned up a bit. Tyres are good. It had these plastic headlamp covers on there. They were a bit cracked and not looking so good, so I got rid of those. When it goes to its new owner, it'll get a new registration number because this is the old format, so at that point it'll get a new number plate there anyway. Yet another one that I want to keep, but that is not going to pay the school fees. So if you're in France and you're looking for a Jimny, send me an email. You will find my address in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.